Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. I tell you, a day's a long time in football, especially in Scotland, and the meltdowns and the blame game have been absolutely phenomenal. Evening. The blame game is just is going through the roof, isn't it? I mean, it's all the fault that they had 7,700 Celtic fans at the game. It's entirely the fault of 7,000 Celtic fans. It's just not going to stop this, is it? When you see the fact that Police Scotland, and it tells a story. It does tell a story, this. And it's a story that we all know far too well. The fact that the police line is in front of the Celtic fans. And it wasn't the Celtic fans in big numbers that went on the pitch and ran up 3/4 of the stadium. But the police line was put out to stop the Celtic fans going further forward. Celtic fans didn't cover themselves in masks and run onto the pitch and run up 3/4 of the stand. You know, it is very telling watching from afar the way that the Scottish media, it is unbelievable. And then you see this one once again. This is the Rangers fans once they'd gotten so far and realised that they're not going to get towards the Celtic fans, started running away. But I find it unbelievable that the police line was put out in front of the Celtic fans as if it was them that we antagonised. Celtic fans antagonised Rangers. How dare they win? How dare they celebrate with their own fans? How dare Celtic fans be joyous and run on the park and take selfies with the players? There's one common denominator between everything that's happened in Scottish football over the last 15 years. And yeah, Celts for life. Celtic fans did not kick and punch Rangers staff and players. And then there was the old guy for Dundee. The old guy for Dundee, and this is entirely on the cops, this one, because the police told the Dundee bus to park where it did. The police fully knew that there was 5 buses from Belfast parked in front of the Celtic bus, knowing fine well that the Belfast buses would still be there after the game. And it just makes you wonder. It does make you wonder. The fact that the they were allowed to get 3/4 of the way up the pitch, put masks on, but there was no police at all. But then when it all calmed down and they went back, the police come out in the stand in front of the Celtic fans, who were kept in the stadium. And we're used to getting kept in the stadiums when you're in the Champions League and in Europa and stuff, so it's no big deal. But anyway, it was complete. Yeah, there's the comment of the day. Was it incompetence for Rangers or was it orchestrated? And then they put the blame on the Celtic fans. I noticed that the Sky interview, it was all about, was it because there were 7,000 Celtic fans? The focus was put on the away fans for the disruption. But anyway, it's absolutely wonderful. But we'll leave that there. We'll leave it where it is, because Celtic have been linked with this guy who's valued at £7 million. Yep. Celtic have been linked with a couple of guys. They walked past the police. Not one. Yeah, they managed to walk past the police, and not one of them got lifted. Um, yeah, I know they couldn't handle it, mate. But anyway, Police Scotland let down Scottish football. Mr. Sweeney needs to call it out. Mr. Sweeney won't call it out, though. Mr. Sweeney will go, yeah, it's football fans. We've been through this before. You know, we've been through a game where they called it the shame game because of Neil Lennon and Ali McCoist had a spat. They're all Lennon. Something was said to Lennon by McCoist. Lennon went apeshit, and then all of a sudden it's a shame game. It didn't look like a shame game when I was at the game. You know, it was quite joyous and everything, but you know the way that it's going to be. And it will be the fans that will suffer. It will be the fans that suffer. But anyway, we all know. We all know that it's Michael, you must have a time machine. Because I don't call it the Old Firm, mate. It's never been the Old Firm since 2012. And punishment for what? Why should Celtic be punished for Rangers fans going 3/4? Let's put this into perspective. Celtic fans have done what Rangers fans have done on many, many occasions here. And jump on the pitch, enter the field of play around the goal mouth area and celebrate it. Let's put it into perspective. I will back the Celtic away fan base to the hilt with this one. They did not. Who goes to the game with a balaclava? So much for the searches going into the ground. You see them putting on their balaclavas, running towards the Celtic fans. Come on. Anybody with a bit of sense, but they won't call it out for what it is. And it's thuggery from the Rangers fans. And we've seen it before. But then again, Police Scotland, many of them will be Rangers fans as well, and it's just those dirty little Timmy. Anyway, we move on from it. Because Celtic have been linked with a couple of players, the first one I want to talk about, we'll talk about Eric. Big Eric. He's been spoken about as a potential to take over from Callum McGregor, believe it or not. He can play as centre-back. He can play in both positions. He can play, and he's probably quite a good utility player to be bringing in. He is only 23 years old. But he comes with a pricey tag when it comes to Scottish football. He is currently valued at around about £7 million. But his contract expires next year. It says there's two different ones. One says it's next year, and one says it's this year. But it's looking like he might be out of contract this summer. There is another team that has been mentioned that are interested in the player, and it's Stuttgart. Now, Celtic obviously went toe-to-toe with Stuttgart. We got absolutely pummeled by them at Celtic Park, but we beat them away from home. He has played for Leipzig. He's played for Austria Vienna, and he came through the system at Leipzig, RB Leipzig. He is a player that is of interest. Could Celtic be bringing in a German centre back, centre midfield? He does play centre midfield, and it looks like that they're trying to get him to take over from Callum McGregor, or give Callum McGregor things go right. Philip Rogoza. He has been on the Celtic. Have been looking at him before. He currently plays for Sturm Graz. But he has been of interest. The Polish international. Celtic were linked with him in the summer, I think it was, and it's been said that Celtic are linked with him again. So there's one thing for sure. Celtic are definitely looking at a rebuild in the summer. And realistically, how much money are Celtic? Go on yourself. I was. But anyway, Celtic looking at a couple of players, a young German player and a young Polish player. Just there's noises coming through that. Anyway, let's talk about. I mean, the conversation is not going to go away about the derby and the police, and the police woman come out and said that they want to reduce the allocation because that was the issue. It wasn't the issue, and we all know it was the issue. And yes, they will reduce the reduction of the fan. For me, the Celtics should just ban them. Should just go right. Fuck it. But just let's go with no away fans then. Let's kill the atmosphere. I thought it was a fantastic atmosphere at the game. It was a good advert. The game itself was absolutely woeful to watch, but the atmosphere, it was back to what it was before 2018 when they decided, no, we don't want you singing at our stadium. That's the reality of the situation. And I'm not going to be apologetic about the Celtic fans singing whatever they deem to be singing. Because it was only the week earlier we had 50,000 Rangers fans singing up to their knees in Fenian blood, and there was no issue with that. I've seen some crazy comments on this channel from Rangers fans saying, you were singing this and you were singing that, you had this flag and that flag. Jesus God, grow up, honestly. But when it comes to violence, that's different level stuff. But anyway, it's probably going to be a quick video tonight. Greg Taylor's been talking about the fact that Callum McGregor, his absence, he's been talking about Calmac, and he says that Calmac, whilst he's got a high threshold for pain, he says that if it's going to be a 6-week injury, you can guarantee that Calmac will get it down to 2 weeks and play through the pain barrier. There's one thing for sure, he won't be playing at Motherwell this weekend. The Players Football Association has condemned the action of both Rangers and Celtic supporters in the aftermath of the Scottish Cup clash this weekend. And once again, the headline and the grabbing and the picture that they put out, and this is what astounds me with this whole scenario, with everything that's going on. The picture that they put out, it's not that one, it's the one with the Rangers fans up in front of the Celtic fans. There's no Celtic fans on the pitch at this point. Do you know? But it's all about the Celtic fans and the 7,000 Celtic fans. The media will go all out on the away allocation thing just to cut the away allocation. Police Scotland will go down that road, and it'll be interesting to see if Celtic come out and say anything. BBC Tom English is a bell end. I don't listen to a word that knob says. You should never have a man that is a rugby man in charge of football. He should never have anything to do with Scottish football. He's a rugby man, and he shouldn't have anything to do with commentating on Scottish football. He's been commentating on Scottish football for around about 10 years now. But anyway, let's jump into the comments this morning and this evening even. Joseph Davidson said the shame was on them. We did fuck all wrong, plain and simple. Aye. Ape shit is the same as normal shit. Same as Hun shit, really. We must not accept being labelled violent in the same way. No, we shouldn't. And Celtic need to go out and make some kind of statement again. And Celtic won't. Celtic hierarchy are a shambles. Celtic hierarchy will go out and they'll say that, you know, our fans shouldn't have went on the pitch and let's take selfies. Shouldn't have went on the pitch and took selfies with the players in celebration. Celtic fans did not run 3/4 of the length of a football field. It is what it is in Scottish football. Celebrating is a crime. Say, did they do the same with Motherwell recently? Yeah, I was going to. If I could have been bothered, I could have went out and looked up all the times that they invaded the pitch. Remember, they did it. Did they not do it at Partick Thistle? They did it at Motherwell with a league game. They did it in a cup game, I'm sure. It was a low league cup team that they were playing. I can't remember. I don't watch their stuff, but anyway. All aside, Baz, there won't be any Huns at Hampden. Yes, there will not. Their fans were past the police and through pyro, walked past them back to the Copeland. Yeah, they did. Nobody's talking about that. It's all about the 7,500 Celtic fans and the fact that that was the issue. Rangers fans walked past the police that were in front of the stand, walked past the stewards. They went onto the pitch, and you could see them in the video. They're like, what? Trying to get all their mates onto the pitch. There was no one even, and there was one of the Rangers fans actually tripped up a policewoman. She'll be on the sick for a couple of months. I have a COVID face mask and I feel like a rebel. Police say the police sat back and watched it. Yeah, they did that. The narrative will blame the Celtic fans. Of course it will. The narrative will all be about there was far too many Celtic fans. And the narrative, yes, there was a certain amount of Celtic fans that didn't have tickets that broke into Ibrox Stadium. Who on earth would want to break into Ibrox? But you know, that thing has went on since the day of dawn. You remember the time when your dad used to lift you over the turnstile? Yes, they shouldn't have done it, but that was a police issue. Do you know, that was, for me, the policing and the stewarding was absolutely inept. It's not like that at Celtic Park. We all know what the stewards are like at Celtic Park. Is it the case that the Rangers just didn't think that it was going to happen? Was it the hierarchy at Rangers? Who cares about them? 3 years on the trot, Celtic have been assaulted at Ibrox. This is very true. And the reduced allocation has not helped. You've got to remember at the beginning, was it the beginning of this season or was it last season? There was no away fans at all again because of Rangers didn't have the safety nets in place. It's all point the finger stuff. It's all blame game, do you know? And yes, Celtic fans maybe shouldn't have went on the pitch, but they did not behave in the manner. And I will always 100% back the Celtic away support and the home support, because they did not act in the manner that put the fear of God into people. And you've had stories in the media, or a Rangers kid got hit by the coin on the head. There's probably plenty of Celtic fans got hit by coins on the heads, but they don't go running to the papers. And the old guy for Dundee, they got attacked by Rangers fans on his way back to the bus, a pensioner, kicked in the head whilst he was on the ground unconscious. Don't see them talking about that in the media. And I just hope that the guy for Dundee is okay. But anyway, we move on from it. Jump into some more of the comments. Stream's playing tricks tonight. It's buffering. It's buffering tonight, is it? It's stream activity says it's fine. Stream health. It's all fine at this end. It's just early comments. We'll jump to the end of the comments. The Onion Bears won't keep away from our ground. No, they won't, will they? Not at all. But they should be banned. They should be banned. Anyway, we move on from that. And Greg Taylor, we spoke about Greg Taylor. We'll talk about the police. Call the cops. Celtic had around about 7,500 fans at Ibrox for the first time since 2018. Dozens, says this report, spilled onto the pitch to celebrate their shootout triumph. More than 100 Rangers fans invaded the pitch and charged towards the Broomloan stand. Guess what country that article has been written in? You can tell it wasn't a Scottish journalist that wrote that. That's for sure. Very different narrative with the way that journalists are talking about it. Scottish media, let me just jump into that one. Scottish media have been shameless reporting of the incident, nothing but attempts to escalate the situation and blame Celtic fans for celebrating in their own corner of the stadium. This is very true. Why is the text so bloody big? Just that. Yeah, that is pretty much spot on, mate. Pretty much spot on. I mean, this is I'm reading an article now from a publication, a news publication from another country, and large away support not safe at derbies, say the police, is the headline. Large away supporters at games between Rangers and Celtics have been described as unsafe by the police officer in charge investigating the trouble. And then it goes on to say that Celtic had around about 7,500 fans inside Ibrox for the first time since 2018. Dozens spilled onto the pitch to celebrate their shootout in the triumph. More than 100 Rangers fans also invaded the pitch and charged towards the Broomlawn stand. Several police officers, stewards, and members of the public were injured. 9 arrests have been made inside 24 hours, and there should be significantly more. Recent allocations veered from 750 to a complete absence to around about 2,500. But the Scottish clubs can claim up to 20% of tickets, a deal following the Scottish Football Association in cup games. Chief Superintendent Emma Croft believes the allocation had an impact on the trouble. The allocation had an impact on the trouble. Yeah. Somebody's saying there's ads. There's no ads switched on for during it, so that's YouTube. That's not me. Yeah, it's all fine. But anyway, right. I've watched the replays 3 times today. Watched TV, Tasman, Gasman, personality, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. Sinisalo plays like he's got years of experience. Yeah, he does that, doesn't he? How much money will Celtic spend in the summer? I'm getting back to the transfer talk. Obviously, the fact that Celtic have been linked with a German player and a Polish player this afternoon. German player that can play in midfield. He can also play in defence, both sides of the defence. He can play centre back on the left side and the right side, and he can play centre mid also. Let me get Felipe. For don't tell me transfer markets goosed again. Not there, it's back up. Celtic have been linked with this 19-year-old Polish player before, and he can play in a varied amount of positions. He played against Rangers earlier on this. No, he didn't play against Rangers. He was injured against Rangers. He did play against Nottingham Forest. He even played against Celtic earlier on in the season. He's got a bit of experience when it comes to European football. Even though he's playing in the Austrian Bundesliga, he's got quite a bit of experience playing against the likes of Bodo Glimt, Feyenoord, Brann, Panathinaikos, Nottingham Forest, Salzburg. Quite interesting. I wonder if Celtic will make a move for the young player. Look at the details. It doesn't give you a valuation of the player. That's the only thing. And the player in question is young Philippe Rosga. 2.8 million. There we go, it's just updated. Last update is worth 2.8 million. That'd be worth it if Celtic can get him for 2.8 million. That'll be for sure. Anyway, we need to buy a Rojo. Yeah, we need to buy a Rojo. Did you see the videos of Rojo last night? Oh, he's brilliant. Huh? He's absolutely brilliant. Oops, Alex says we need to total spend 30 million after taking in 30 million for Dice, Maeda, Hatati, and Engels. There's one thing for sure, quite a few of the what we call bigger players at Celtic will definitely be on their way out the club this summer. It is going to be a massive summer for Celtic. We know this. Joseph Davison talking about the old Rangers before they were taken over by David Murray. I can remember us getting the old enclosure and some of the Govan Road stand. So allocation is pure excuse for bad policing. Big Tam got the Hun before the police got near him. Yeah, nothing said about that, is there? We all seen the video of the guy getting arrested and taken up the tunnel by the two policemen. But Police Scotland have never mentioned about the fact that another member of Celtic staff got injured. Well, attacked. But anyway. Rocco, Sirachi, Arthur should be signed on loan for the season. Sirachi, we will buy Sirachi. Benjamin Arthur, I think that I don't think getting him on loan is a good idea. If we get this Eric Martel, he's a player that can play in 2 or 3 different positions. The only thing about that is Stuttgart are in for him, and there's a 32% chance of him going to Stuttgart. Well, it's unknown about Celtic, as Celtic have just been linked with the player. But Celtic are talking about trying to get him on a pre-contract. But we'll wait and see what that happens. Baz, do you think the Celtic will appoint a new manager before the summer window opens? I think that the summer window opens in July, doesn't it? Not before the window will open, no. I don't think if Celtic are going to. I think Celtic can still announce the new manager even though he's at the World Cup. But it tends not to happen, does it? Because Celtic like to do things the correct way. So I do think that the manager, once he's finished the World Cup, will then join Celtic. Magnus says, hail, hail, Baz and Hoops. Heading for heart surgery in the morning. Wow, mate. I hope that goes well. Seriously. You'll be fine. You'll be fine, mate. Trust me. Yeah, you'll be fine. Let's hope it all goes fine for you. I would keep Martin for another year. Martin's not going to stay at Celtic past the summer. You need to be realistic. I mean, Martin said, even after the game yesterday, Martin says, look, my heart rate was going at a rate that it shouldn't be going at for a 74-year-old. You know, he knows that he's came in and he's done his bit for Celtic. Listen, if Martin O'Neill wins the double, he said before he'll walk away. He will walk in the summer. Martin O'Neill is not the future of the club. We need to bring in someone that can take Celtic for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And Martin O'Neill is just a sticking plaster. Absolute sticking plaster. Arthur has impressed us. He could be another Van Dijk. We're not buying him. He's on a 4-year contract. He's not going to be sold to us. Some people need to just have a reality check. We got Van Dijk for peanuts. Arthur's, what is he valued at? Have I got him on the system from before? No, because he came on the last day, didn't he? Let me see if I could find it. Well, it won't be on that. It'll be on this. Transfer market's playing up tonight again. I have to leave that for another day. Do you think the Celtic Fans Collective get a fundraising together in order to get a statue for Martin O'Neill to be put in the Celtic way? The Celtic fans collective would do nothing of the sort. That will come down to Celtic doing that. Chopper wants a Rojo. I think that we could say that that's not going to happen. There is no way that Celtic are going to. I mean, they'll blame the Green Brigade for everything that happened, for fans going on the pitch and celebrating. Even though there was fans that didn't go on the pitch and from the Green Brigade, there was more other fans from the area around about. But I don't think that the Green Brigade will get in this weekend. I mean, if they did, it would be hilarious because it would be a massive slap in the face to Rangers and but I can't see it, to be honest. The club are now between a rock and a hard place to what will happen. A lot of people saying, I hope you have a safe surgery, mate. Quite a lot of people saying that in the comments. If Nicol can't see that we need major investment, well, he sat at Ibrox yesterday, then he should resign, says Celts for life. I think Nicholson, his time has to come to an end at some point. I mean, the Celtic fans collective have been very quiet. It was believed that the Green Brigade were due to have a meeting with the Celtic board tonight. I bet you that was cancelled. Shouldn't laugh, but yeah, I bet you that was cancelled. It was scheduled for the 9th of March, but there's no chance. No chance. Do you reckon interesting Tawanda has cooled at Motherwell? I don't think so. Why blame the allocation? 7,500 games at Hampden against them. We had roughly about 25,000 tickets each. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's all about agendas. It is all about agenda. For me, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out over the next couple of days, and it will be interesting to see, because when you go to Hampden, there's 22,000 of them. There's 22,000 Celtic fans. Nothing happens then. The police manage to do it quite okay. Don't know. Why is nobody calling out Rangers in this whole scenario? That's what I want to know. Nobody in the media is calling out Rangers and their inability to house their own fans and keep their own fans in order. But it's like, let's blame the Celtic fans, because there was 7,500 of them. There's too much. There was 7,500 for years and years and years and years and years. I mean, I've went to the Broom Limestone probably around about God knows how many times over the years. I've lost count. And it was always the safest game to go to. I've said it before. That game at Ibrox was always the safest game in Scottish football to go to, because you got nowhere near each other. On the street, when you parked in the car park and when you parked at the industrial estate, they were nowhere near you. There was a 100-metre cordon across the car park bit. They couldn't get close to each other. It was never an issue before. So saying that 7,500 fans are the issue is a big deflection on Rangers Football Club. It's deflect from Rangers to say that they got it wrong. They didn't steward it correctly. The police didn't steward it correctly. And that is where the issue lies. To blame 7,700 Celtic fans is completely ridiculous, because for years, from the early 2000s up to 2018, it was one of the safest games in Scottish football. You got more coins thrown at you at Hearts away than you did at Ibrox, and that's fact. But anyway, Brian says, Evening Baz, proud of our players for not taking the bait. Yep, and giving it out, because I'll tell you one thing, Big Tam the Czech, and there was quite a few of the Celtic players. I've got to tell you one thing, going up the tunnel, young Colby Donovan, he wasn't too shy either. Do you know, he was giving it back to the Rangers fans walking up the tunnel. Anyway, we can't put Martin through this again. No, we can't. Martin, if he delivers the double, needs a statue next to brother Wilfred. Hmm. If we sign a Rocco, then Alistair Johnson will be sold. The club won't keep both. I don't think so. I think that there's if you want good players at the club, and if you want to take it's we need to sit down and talk. Is what direction did the club want to go? Because it's more than apparent that Ross Dermott and Dermot fucking doesn't want the club to be in Europe. They only want to go in Europe to just get the cash for the Champions League. They don't want to have an attack on Europe and try and do as well as possible. That's more than apparent. Going back to the AGM. Baz, remember the very same picture is playing in the Celtic number 2. Joseph. Rumour mill saying that Celtic are thinking about putting seats into the safe standing section. Mate, that's been spoken about all year. And it wouldn't surprise me if they'd done away with the standing section. I think that the way that Celtic Park's been this year and the ongoing... And this will come down to Nicholson. This is down to Nicholson if it does happen. And it will be a backward step for Celtic Football Club. And it'll be a sad day if they do revert from the standing section, because it's not the standing section that is the fault, is it, really? Do you know, it's... yeah, that would be a sad day for Celtic. Maloney needs to stand and grow up in a grow bag for a while. That's a bit shortest. I mean, Sean Maloney was a fantastic player. It just shows you that you don't need height to be a decent football player or a manager. Sarachi is definitely signing permanently. I don't think so. Well, he's in talks. His agent is in talks with Celtic. So that's about as far as we know. If Martin O'Neill had stayed, Celtic could have been going for a treble, even after all the problems we've had this season. I don't think that it's even worth talking about that, mate, because, you know, it would have been a sticking plaster. And as much as I would have loved to say, I'd love to agree with you with that, mate, Jim. But it'd been a big sticking plaster. And the board have got away with it. The talk again this week, well, once the absolute mayhem calms down and the blame of the 7,000 Celtic fans that were at the stadium, as we get closer to the game this weekend, it will return to the atmosphere at Celtic Park, or the lack of atmosphere. And then there will be certain factions that will talk up about getting the Green Brigade back in. Now, I don't think that the Green Brigade will get back in. It's not the way that the board work, and especially after they will try and blame the Green Brigade in some form, some manner for some of the stuff that went on. I just think that the hierarchy at Scottish football and Rangers were looking for an excuse to reduce the allocation again. And but could we have been going for the treble? Possibly, yes. But it's a sticking plaster, mate. It doesn't. It lets we've let the board away with blue murder this season, allowing the board. Oh yeah, we'll have conversations. We'll have talks. I'm not being funny, but I mean, Michael Nicholson, he's just the head of the company. There's not that much transfer negotiations going on just now. Do you know, there's not that much stuff that he can't find an hour or two to speak to fans. It's all smoke and mirrors with the board. The attention. I'll tell you one thing, if the board hang out the Celtic fans to dry on this one, they will feel the wrath of the Celtic fans big time. And especially if the board do not, if the board come out and try to put any single bit of blame on the Celtic fans, they will suffer, because we've been letting them get away with absolute murder and them not speaking to the fans. Anyway, it's ridiculous what a former Rangers player said. You know what? They're just absolutely raging that they got beat. We would be raging that we got beat, but we wouldn't have went on the pitch. You know, if they had won the penalties yesterday, Celtic fans would have went, fuck it, we're shite. We wouldn't have went on the pitch to celebrate. Who's to say that they might have not went on? They would have stayed off the pitch. Do you know what I mean? So, anyway, right, that has been done and dusted for this evening. I'm going to jump through. I want to make an announcement to everyone that is a member. From now on, everyone that is a member, because I've figured out how to download all the people that are in the membership, they will be put into a draw. I'll put all the names into a draw, and they will be given a One Celtic Fans View piece of merch. There will be a prize draw every single month, so that's even more reason to become a member, because you'll get a bit of, you put in a draw for a bit of merch, and there might be 2 or 3 bits of merch given away on a monthly basis. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. The chat has always been about Celtic and the fact that we're getting blamed for this left, right, and centre. There has been a bit of transfer speculation now, but that's just transfer speculation. It's that time of year. We're going to get linked with people because Sean Maloney is taking a lot to do with it. Does that mean that we're getting Roberto Martinez in the summer? A lot of people think it's a good idea. A lot of people think it's not. Anyway, on that note, I'm away to have a nice relaxing cup of cha. And I'll see you on in the morning. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.